Yes, let's all take a little moment here and enjoy Erica Kirk as she preps herself to go out on stage to show how much she's broken up, which I'm sure on some level she is, but showing how deeply upset she is about the loss of her husband, Charlie Kirk, by pre-tearing herself before she goes on stage. And then, of course, doing it again and again with Trump and being backed up by Fox News.
Erica Kirk and U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance are making headlines after they shared an unusual hug at a Turning Point USA event. Weeks ago, Erica hosted a memorial for her husband, far-right activist Charlie Kirk, putting her under scrutiny, with critics saying the event seemed more like a rally than funeral.
He's an amazing man.
Then came the hug that captured everyone's attention. A long embrace, his hands on her waist, her fingers in his hair.
We need to talk about how the mighty mainstream media have fallen, or maybe they just drank the Kool-Aid and became Fox News. It's honestly hard to tell at this point, but what I'm about to show you is absolutely wild. If you'd like to watch CBS turn tail and run right along with Donald Trump's propaganda machine, hit that subscribe button because this story is breaking and it's infuriating. Let me set the stage here. Remember when Charlie Kirk, the far-right activist and husband of Erica Kirk, had his unfortunate end? And I want to be very clear that I'm not celebrating anyone's death or promoting violence in any way. But remember when Erica Kirk did that whole performance where she prepped herself before going on stage at his memorial? She literally pre-teared, getting herself ready to look devastated on camera. She did this move multiple times at different events, always with the cameras rolling, always with Trump and Fox News backing her up as she turned her husband's death into a political spectacle. By the way, I am trying to do my best to gather all the information I can for you and share it with you. Please leave your likes and comments, and I would be grateful if you subscribed. Let's continue. Then at another Turning Point USA event, we saw this absolutely bizarre interaction between Erica Kirk and Vice President J.D. Vance. They shared what can only be described as an unusual hug that captured everyone's attention, a long embrace with his hands on her waist and her fingers in his hair. This happened weeks after Erica hosted a memorial for Charlie that critics said seemed more like a political rally than a funeral. The whole thing has been strange from the beginning, turning a tragedy into what looks like a MAGA campaign event. But here's where this story gets really concerning. CBS is now run by Bari Weiss, and if you know anything about Bari Weiss's background, alarm bells should be going off in your head right now. David Ellison, who controls CBS through his acquisition, has gotten very close with Bari Weiss, and Weiss has presented herself as a champion of free speech, but in reality, she has a 20-year history of suppressing speech that she finds objectionable. With Weiss becoming Ellison's personal enforcer outside the normal chain of command within the organization, many people, including journalists who've worked in the industry for decades, are deeply concerned that she will enforce a right-leaning ideology on the entire network. This isn't speculation. This is people inside CBS sounding the alarm about what's happening to their network. So what happens when you mix one part Erica Kirk, one part Bari Weiss, and one part CBS? Well, this breaking story feels a lot like I'm watching Fox News, not CBS. And CBS is getting absolutely grilled for it, as they should be. The headline says it all. Unqualified CBS News. Trump-backed boss roasted for massive Erica Kirk TV campaign. The editor-in-chief of CBS News, Bari Weiss herself, was hit with strong pushback this weekend after heavily featuring Erica Kirk and inserting herself into the network's coverage in ways that are completely inappropriate for someone in her position. CBS has included numerous features on Erica Kirk, the widow of the slain MAGA commentator Charlie Kirk. They even aired a town hall where the last person to speak to Charlie Kirk confronted Erica about Donald Trump's behavior, but here's where it gets really problematic. Pushback came throughout the weekend, including in response to Weiss's attacks on MAGA influencers like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson for perpetuating conspiracy theories about Charlie Kirk's death. Now let me be clear, I'm not endorsing conspiracy theories, but Bari Weiss, as the head of CBS News, attacking specific media personalities by name is not journalism. That's activism. That's using your platform as a weapon against people you disagree with. Psychotherapist Nick Carmody quoted Weiss saying, "They believe, they believe, they believe." about conspiracy theorists and pointed out that one thing she could do to help combat the problem is use her new platform to name Owens, Carlson, and many others spreading what she calls brain rot. Think about what that means. The head of CBS News is openly calling for her network to target and name specific media personalities as problems that need to be addressed. That's not news. That's propaganda. Shadow of Ezra, a popular social media user, said Bari Weiss claims something needs to be done about social media in the wake of Charlie Kirk's death. Weiss is arguing that widespread distrust of the government's shooter narrative is causing what she calls brain rot. She's pointing to online theories claiming Erica Kirk was Charlie Kirk's Mossad handler, that he was killed by a foreign government, or that her rings signal Illuminati connections. And Weiss says social media allowing these ideas to spread is dangerous to her democracy. Notice the language there. Her democracy, not our democracy, her democracy. The democracy that Bari Weiss and people like her get to control by determining what information is acceptable and what information is brain rot that needs to be suppressed. This is exactly the authoritarian playbook. Label dissent as dangerous misinformation, call for censorship in the name of protecting democracy, and use mainstream media platforms to push a specific narrative while attacking alternatives. Ron Filipkowski absolutely nailed the problem when he pointed out that CBS has posted 25 features in 3 days involving Bari Weiss and Erica Kirk. 25 posts in 3 days. He asked whether it's Erica Kirk with Bari Weiss or Bari Weiss with Erica Kirk, because it's hard to tell who's supposed to be the featured subject when the head of CBS News is inserting herself into the coverage constantly. Filipkowski, who's a former prosecutor, added, "Who knew that when CBS hired Bari Weiss, they were not only getting someone unqualified to run a network, but also an amazing on-air talent to be the face of their network, since she seems determined to be on air more than anyone else?" That's devastating criticism, and it's absolutely accurate. Bari Weiss is using CBS as her personal platform to push her ideological agenda and elevate people like Erica Kirk who fit her preferred narrative. TrumpFile.org pointed out that in Weiss's attempts to make Erica Kirk some sort of idol to MAGA Christians, Weiss pretends she was literally incapable of understanding what forgiveness means until Erica explained it to her. Then Weiss explains forgiveness for the audience herself. Think about how condescending and manipulative that framing is. The head of CBS News is positioning a MAGA widow as a moral authority who had to teach her about basic Christian concepts, and then Weiss uses that setup to deliver moral lessons to viewers. That's not journalism. That's propaganda wrapped in a religious narrative. Eli Valley put it even more bluntly. He said fascist activist Bari Weiss is doing what her billionaire benefactors recruited her for, to turn CBS News into an ongoing infomercial for, and I'll use his phrasing here, that guy in the 30s with the mustache from Germany. Valley is pointing out that Weiss is transforming CBS into a propaganda outlet for authoritarianism, just with better production values than Fox News. And that comparison to Fox News is crucial because we've seen this movie before. Fox News settled a massive lawsuit admitting they're essentially an entertainment company, not a news organization. They knowingly spread false information about voting machines, and when sued, they paid nearly $800 million rather than go to trial, where more evidence of their lies would become public. Fox News is propaganda disguised as journalism, and CBS under Bari Weiss is heading in exactly that direction. Think about the legacy CBS is abandoning. Dan Rather, who spent decades doing serious investigative journalism and held powerful people accountable. Leslie Stahl, who conducted tough interviews and asked hard questions regardless of who it made uncomfortable. Edward R. Murrow before them, who literally helped expose McCarthyism and defined what broadcast journalism could be. CBS has a history of journalistic excellence, of speaking truth to power, of doing the hard work of holding government and corporations accountable. But now you get Bari Weiss and Erica Kirk doing goofy interviews with softball questions and manufactured emotional moments designed for clicks and ratings. This is what happens when news becomes purely for profit rather than serving a public interest mission. When the only metric is viewership and revenue, journalism dies and propaganda flourishes. CBS is moving closer to Fox News, which, again, settled out of court claiming they're entertainment rather than news. than they are to ABC, NBC, or other outlets that at least attempt to maintain journalistic standards and report fairly. And the worst part is this didn't happen by accident. This is a deliberate choice by David Ellison and Bari Weiss to transform CBS into a right-wing propaganda outlet that can compete with Fox while maintaining the veneer of mainstream credibility. The 25 posts in 3 days featuring Weiss and Kirk isn't journalism. It's marketing. It's agenda-driven activism using CBS's platform and credibility to push a specific ideological message. Real journalism would include tough questions about Trump's policies, about MAGA's authoritarian tendencies, about the conspiracy theories and misinformation that actually do spread through right-wing media. But CBS under Weiss isn't doing that. They're elevating MAGA figures and attacking people who question the official narrative. And Weiss's call to do something about social media because people don't trust the government's narrative is particularly telling. She's not concerned about actual misinformation that causes real harm. She's concerned that people aren't accepting the official story uncritically. She's concerned that social media allows alternative theories to spread without her gatekeeping. This is about control, not truth. The fact that Weiss is inserting herself into on-air coverage rather than staying behind the scenes as an editor-in-chief should is another huge red flag. She's not content to shape coverage from the background. She wants to be the face of CBS News, delivering the messages and controlling the narrative personally. That's not how journalism works. That's how propaganda works. Journalists should be skeptical of power, should ask tough questions of everyone regardless of party, should follow evidence wherever it leads even when it's uncomfortable. But activists want to push a specific agenda, want to elevate allies and attack enemies, want to control what information reaches the public. Bari Weiss is clearly operating as an activist, not a journalist, and she's using CBS's credibility and reach to advance her political goals. The transformation of CBS into Fox News Lite is a tragedy for American journalism and for democracy. We need multiple independent news sources doing real journalism, holding power accountable, investigating rather than promoting. When another major network abandons journalism for propaganda, when billionaires buy media outlets specifically to push ideological agendas, when the head of a news network attacks critics and elevates political allies, we all lose. CBS viewers who expect real news are being betrayed. Journalists who work at CBS and want to maintain professional standards are being undermined. And the public that needs accurate information to make informed decisions is being fed propaganda instead. The consolidation of media ownership by billionaires who want to shape political narratives rather than report news is one of the most dangerous trends in American society. Bari Weiss isn't qualified to run a major news network. Her background is in opinion writing and activism, not journalism. She's made a career out of attacking people she disagrees with while claiming to defend free speech. And now she's using CBS to elevate MAGA figures like Erica Kirk while attacking MAGA critics like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson. That's not balanced journalism. That's picking sides and using a news network as a weapon. The bottom line is this: CBS is no longer a trustworthy news source. Under Bari Weiss's leadership, it's becoming a propaganda outlet that happens to have good production values and a historic brand name. The journalism that Dan Rather and Leslie Stahl and Edward R. Murrow represented is dead at CBS, replaced by manufactured emotional content and ideological activism. If you care about having access to real news, if you value journalism that holds power accountable rather than promotes it, you should be deeply concerned about what's happening at CBS. And you should support independent media outlets that don't have billionaire owners pushing specific agendas, because mainstream media is failing us, one network at a time, and we need alternatives that actually do journalism rather than propaganda. Like and share this video so more people understand what's happening at CBS. Stay frosty, everyone. And remember, when you see Bari Weiss conducting interviews and promoting MAGA figures on CBS, you're not watching journalism. You're watching propaganda with better graphics than Fox News. Don't be fooled by the CBS brand. The network's soul has been sold, and what's left is just another outlet pushing right-wing narratives while attacking critics. That's not the CBS of Dan Rather. That's Fox News with a more respectable logo.